To find the second derivative of x squared minus 2y squared equals 8, we are going to perform implicit differentiation, wherein we are going to separately find the derivative of each of the terms here. So first, starting with x squared, we're going to find the derivative of x squared with respect to x. So that gives us 2x minus the derivative of 2y squared with respect to x is 4y, y prime. That's the uh, power rule right there, and that's equal to 0. Simplifying, you have x minus 2y, y prime equals 0. We can write that as y prime equals x over 2y. Transpose and then divide. So to find the second derivative, we have two options here. It's either we use this explicit form or we will use this implicit form. So let's try to answer using the two solutions, but we're going to start with the explicit form. So the derivative of y prime is y double prime, as we know. And here, because we have two functions right here, quotient of two functions, we're going to use the quotient rule. So y double prime is equal to, okay, you have the option here to like copy the constant because 2 here is just a constant, so you can actually just write this as 1/2 times x over y so that you go and get you don't need to include 2 here or 1/2 here in the quotient rule. So that's 1/2 times, start with the fraction bar, copy the denominator, raise it to the power of 2, and then in the numerator copy the denominator, multiply it to the derivative of the numerator, which is 1, and then minus, copy the numerator x, multiply it to the derivative of the denominator, which is y prime. Next is we are going to simplify, or we can just multiply 2 now here. So now be 2y squared. That's y in the numerator minus x, which is multiply 2 here. Then that's y minus x, and then we're going to substitute y prime. So we know that here y prime is equal to x over 2y. Okay, so simplifying the numerator, we have y minus x squared over 2y all over 2y squared. And so to simplify the complex fraction, you have two options right here. It's either you find the LCD here, that's 2y, and then perform the simplifying process, or you can just multiply both the numerator and the denominator with this LCD here, which is 2y, and multiply it to each of the terms here. And that would give us 2y squared minus x squared all over 4y cubed. Because this will be multiplied to this denominator here, that's 2y. So that gives us 4y cubed. So we'll stop right there and we'll proceed with the implicit differentiation of the first derivative. So let's rewrite that. X minus 2y, y double prime equals 0. So differentiating again with respect to x, that gives us 1 minus, you copy the constant 2, and then proceed with the product rule right here. This is y prime. So y times the derivative of y prime, which is y double prime, plus, we're going to copy y prime, then multiply it to the derivative of the first factor, which is y prime also. So we're like multiplying 2y prime, so that's y prime quantity squared equals 0. The next thing is to simplify, so 1 minus 2y, y double prime, minus 2 y prime quantity squared equals 0. And then we know that y prime is equal to x over 2y, so we're going to substitute that one. So 1 minus 2y, y double prime, minus 2. When you raise this x over 2y raised to the power of 2, that would be x squared over 4y squared equals 0, right? X squared over 4y squared. So next is, we can see that this can be cancelled. So what's left here is 2. And so to get rid of the fraction, we can just multiply both sides of the equation by 2y squared. So multiplying both sides of the equation by 2y squared, 2y squared times 1 is 2y squared, minus 2y prime times 2y squared, that would be 4y cubed, y double prime, minus x squared equals 0. Then isolating the term with y double prime on one side, that's 2y squared minus x squared equals 4y cubed y double prime. And dividing both sides by 4y cubed, we get that y double prime is equal to 2y squared minus x squared over 4y cubed, which is the same answer as the explicit form. But if you notice, this answer right here is the reverse of our given. So our given is x squared minus 2y squared equals 8. So if we factor out our answer, factor out the negative sign, that would be negative 2y squared plus x squared over 4y cubed. Or rearranging that, that would be the negative of x squared minus 2y squared all over 4y cubed. And x squared minus 2y squared equals 8. So that would give us negative 8 over 4y cubed. And in simplifying, y double prime therefore is equal to negative 2 over y cubed. So that is the second derivative of our given x squared minus 2y squared equals 8.